2013. I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's presentation, and that you managed to and that you had your interviews, and hopefully you also had a nice evening in Tokyo yesterday. Today we will be moving on a little bit and try to give you an idea of both how society is transforming, but also how business is transforming. We have a packed agenda with some very, very exciting speakers, interesting topics, and I'd like here to really remind you that we are looking for a conversation, and we're very happy for this to be a dialogue. All our speakers will be presented much more in depth in just a minute. We also have some, remind you of some of the housekeeping from yesterday. Like yesterday, we will be translating into 4 languages. You will find the channels for the translation on the sides over there. So it's English, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. Please use those. Like yesterday, we also have photographers taking pictures. If you're interested in those, this is where you will be finding those and where you can access them. Also, we are active on our social media channels, and if you would like to be active, we have the hashtag EBIF13 for you. Our host for today is, as he has been for the past 4 out of 5 Business Innovation Forums, is our Global Head of Strategy, Douglas Gilstrap. As Head of Strategy, you can imagine that he has an awful lot to keep up with in the industry. He has been known to read some 800 pages per day. No doubt some of your articles and reports. Now he's going to give us a global view of how the industry is changing and how society is transforming, and of course why we chose to come to Tokyo. Before I invite Douglas up, I would also like to remind you that this is our home for the day. We will also be staying here tonight, so we will have dinner and music, DJ coming in, and I think, and I've been told that the view should be quite spectacular from up here at night. With that, I'd like to welcome Douglas Gilstrap on stage.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our 5th Business Innovation Forum. A lot of familiar faces, great to see everybody. Well, our theme is urbanization, and what better place than here in Tokyo. We've done innovation business forums in Sweden, China, Brazil, the United States, and now here in Tokyo. If you recall last year, we were at Sao Paulo. We had a field trip to Amazon, and here we are in the world's biggest city. So from a rural town to the world's biggest city. Mobile reality, it affects us all. Let me step back to 5 years and understand and give a reflection to you on what's happened in the industry since we started these business innovation forums. Number 1, 5 years ago, voice was the dominant traffic. Dominant traffic on all mobile carriers. Today it's less than 10%. 5 years ago, we were just rolling out mobile broadband. Today, it's a reality. And we're going to talk about the big change in composition of mobile broadband going forward. And lastly, 5 years ago, LTE was not embraced, and you know where it is today. So rapid changes, data is the common denominator. So, taking from the last 5 years, what has Ericsson done? What have we changed? First of all, Ericsson was close to 75,000, 80,000 employees. We're now 110,000 employees. We're considered mostly a hardware network company. Today we have over 45% of our revenue from services. Most people don't realize we're the 5th largest software house. So we're a true software services network company. And during those 5 years, a lot has happened in the industry in terms of our competitors, the smartphone industry, and the operators. But we at Ericsson, we led by being the leader in terms of R&D, $25 billion approximately that we spent on R&D in 5 years. Again, $25 billion approximately in R&D. So how do we do that? We use that money to drive innovation, to drive patents, and to have the best performing products and services and software solutions. So, with that said, let's then move into the industry. Going forward, what do the numbers look like? Lots of numbers, key points, 7 billion mobile broadband connection subscribers, 7 billion subscriptions, 7 billion out of 9. If you look at that compared to 2012, that's 4 times more. If you look at it in terms of total numbers, it's 5 billion more mobile broadband subscriptions, 5 billion. Compare that to fixed broadband. It's a dramatic change. So 2 takeaways. 1, mobile broadband subscriptions and that tremendous growth. And 2, on top of the 9 billion subscriptions, you have machine to machine. So these 2 forces will drive innovation and lead to what we believe is a network society. They will drive cloud applications, they will drive usage, they will drive how people live and work with mobility and that access to mobile broadband. We'll be able to add new industries, grasp new opportunities. And really what I'd like to do is just focus on 2 out of these many different areas. First is e-health, and second I will talk about utilities. These are items that are critical to people in rural environments as well as mega cities like Tokyo. Today in e-health, Ericsson offers remote patient monitoring. So what is that? A tablet, video, the doctor and the patient can monitor and manage the person's health and status without having to trip back to the hospital. It's monthly checkups, it's weekly checkups, or it could just be daily monitoring on a real-time basis. Great for individuals, both in a rural environment where you can bring healthcare expertise, but also in a mega city where you don't have to leave the child and you can have updates in your own home. The second is utilities. Ericsson is replacing hundreds of thousands of meters with smart meters. Hundreds of thousands, and the benefit is twofold. One, from the consumer, they know how much electricity they are using. They know when to buy at off-peak rates. They can manage their understanding of electrical use in a real-time basis. For the utility, for the business, it's very easy. Save time and money. No truck roll, no impact to sustainability, save time and money. But in addition, if you put proper software solutions on top of that smart meter, you can actually manage peaks and valleys and utilization, and you can understand how to best supply energy to your constituents. So it's beyond just reading the meter. As you heard yesterday, 70% of the people on this planet will live in cities. We, with the urbanization theme that we have on this topic here, will try to understand how we best use ICT to manage some of those complications of all those people living in the cities, understanding and needing data and mobility and the usage. Tremendous amount of needs logistically, as well as on the operator and service providers, and well as equipment providers like Ericsson. So let's bring it down to the city and look at an innovative example. The street lamp. Every city needs a street lamp. It's one of the costliest items on a budget for city expenditures. Ericsson's working with urban planners, Ericsson's working with operators to put in the operator's equipment within the street lamp. We're using today's infrastructure, adding to it and enhancing the infrastructure, and again, helping the needs of the society and bringing benefits without adding new macro base stations in the middle of the city. So think about all the possibilities of scaling this, the street lamp, or any other innovative idea in a city environment where it's congested and you need densification, diversification, more capacity. This is an example. It's improving service to people in cities without impacting the appearance of the city. So it's sustainable, it's innovative, and it's just one idea that we're rolling out in a couple different countries with operators. If you think from the next perspective, what can that street light do? What can that smart street light do going forward? It can have vehicle charging for electrical cars. It can have messaging. It can have tourist information. It can have alerts. Many different opportunities. And again, we could turn that street lamp into a smart lamp from a cost-based perspective into something that could be revenue generation for the city, all in a smart way. So, Tokyo. Why did we pick Tokyo? First of all, Japan is the third largest economy. Urbanization is our theme. What better place than this mega city here in Tokyo? If anyone can harness the capability and innovation of what we've already done here in Tokyo and Japan, going forward and learn lessons, here we are, this is the proper place. Japan is always focused on high tech, innovation, miniaturization, the next big thing. Strong in consumer electronics. That leads to many innovative ideas and use of mobile data. They're the first to embrace mobile data in a big way. And let's look through some of those items, but before we get there, remember, Japan is the third largest country in terms of LTE subscribers. Japan has close to 95% mobile broadband penetration. That's 3 times the global average. So we're at the right place to learn from Tokyo, from the Japan users, how to take this forward with urbanization. They're the first with many things, and to click through. As I said, early adopters for mass market data services. The operators embraced video. Online gaming, interactivity, mobile wallets, many, many different items. Japan was here the first. So why did it work here? Why is it such a fascinating market? It's because they had market enablers. And the market enablers let them have all these different firsts going forward. End users wanted the next big thing. The ecosystem was pulled together from the consumer electronics, the end users, the application development, the infrastructure providers. Infrastructure providers here, service providers actually embrace video and push video. Other parts of the world, the operators did not want video over the networks. They didn't think they could make money. Here, operators embraced it. End users demanded it. And it's all about quality of experience, the service, and it's that ecosystem. It's a cycle that we have to live through and learn from. How can we learn from Japan? Urbanization going forward the next 5 years. So we come down to the individual, and it comes down to customer experience. What can an individual look at in terms of his experience, his understanding? Well, we use speed test. Speed test measures exactly that, speed and throughput. How fast you can get the information, how quickly and download the throughput will be on the uplink and the downlink. Here's an example of speed test, and I want to take it back to where I live in New York City. I pull out my phone, I'm constantly checking the speed test in New York City, the mobile broadband. I'm on the bus with my daughter one day and she sees me doing this. She pulls out the same mobile phone, same operating system. We're on the same network, the same shared data plan. She's not constrained, I haven't throttled her down at all. We're on the same data plan. And we're on the bus, and we quickly click speed test. Hers goes up to 1 meg. She's very happy. Her downlink. She thinks she has great speed. Mine continues to go up to 15 meg. And she says, how's that possible? Well, it's not the network. We're at the same place at the same time. It's the same network. My phone actually had a 4G modem. Now, the difference there is dramatic. her first question to me was, hey Dad, when can I get a new phone? I want 4G. Okay, so that was good. So once I know how much data she uses on her 3G, imagine how much data she's going to use on her 4G. So the user experience is dramatic. She always wants to use my phone whenever we're traveling. It's just it's a fact. The 4G offers better service in this particular example of speed and latency. But if you take that bus and you travel forward and you go to different parts of the city, it's going to vary dramatically. That speed test will vary dramatically, be it her phone or my phone, for various network reasons. And we're going to talk about that. So think about what Ericsson's trying to do. It's all about network performance, superior performance, from the software, the services, and the network. Now, if you have results like this in a major metropolitan city, how can you then get consistent results? So we're working with the operators from our macro base stations to the micro base stations to the in-building solutions to provide that great service, that consistent quality, speed, and user experience. Like we launched the DOT a few weeks ago. And if you take it back a few moments, imagine if we had that smart street lamp throughout the city. That could possibly give a better utilization, better speeds, better latency, and downlink through the capacity. So we need to start thinking, how do we best provide infrastructure for consistent quality? So let's look back at the key points. First, we're going to have 9 times more mobile broadband subscriptions than fixed. Tremendous. 9 times more than what we have today in fixed broadband. Second, we know data is driving the ecosystem now. It's been embraced here in Japan. Over 60% of the bill is through data. And we see that learning, and we're going to carry that through the rest of the world. For all these cases, all these numbers, they gather evidence to us that networks are becoming more and more valuable in the network society. They're helping us in terms of our daily lives, be it in the Amazon or here in a mega city like Tokyo. So we've seen a lot of changes in the last 5 years. Dramatic changes in the industry, the smartphone side, the infrastructure side, and the operators. The common theme has been data, a big shift to data. Data is the common denominator. On the global perspective going forward, 2 takeaways: mobile broadband, 4 times more. 5 billion more mobile broadband subscriptions, a huge number. And a lot of that will be in this region. Here in Japan, we understand that we have a leading position with mobile broadband. 95% mobile broadband penetration. Remember, that's 3 times the world's average here in Japan. They're one of the top 3 LTE countries in terms of subscribers. So the basis is here. On top of that, we know Japan has been the first of many innovations on mobility. We've gone through the list. We have these learnings from Japan, particularly because they've embraced data, that ecosystem that they form. So now we need to understand, how is this going to impact the urbanization theme? That infrastructure here today, that innovation capability, how are we going to embrace it and drive the next big thing in urbanization? Tokyo is the best place for us to be able to have this conversation. We have brought many leaders, business leaders, government leaders, and our regional people that know this industry really well. I want to listen to these people. I want to have a great dialogue and understand how Japan will lead and help us learn from Japan in terms of megacities, urbanization, and what will be the next big thing in terms of ICT and urbanization. Let's have a continual active dialogue like we've had in the last 4 years. Many questions and energies from the audience. Push me, push our great speakers. We're going to have a great 2 days. And again, I'm very excited to be here and share this urbanization theme with you all. Thank you very much.